So I went to this place in Austria. I spent a lot of money to go to this place, which was, was a wellness institute. And they had been running that for 150 years. And the lessons I learned there were priceless. Well, I'm going to describe this entire experience to you, and I'm going to tell you the inferences as we go along. I went there. It was a beautiful place outside a lake, spectacular, cold. I walked in on a Sunday evening. They said, yeah, welcome, Mr. Madhavan, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. And would you like to have dinner? I said, yes. They gave me a sumptuous dinner. I was a vegetarian. They gave me the food I wanted. The next morning, I went and met the doctor, and he said, welcome, Mr. Madhavan. Lovely to see you. You're from India, I see. Yeah. He says, congratulations then. You've paid us a lot of money and come a long way to hear from us what we learned in India. I said, congratulations. He started explaining to me what's going to happen for the next 10 days to 15 days that I plan to stay there. The first part was, first thing, I said, I'm hungry. What can I have for breakfast? He said, the next 3 days, Mr. Madhavan, you will be having, what he showed me was 4 slices of slightly hard bread and a bowl that looked like it had a little bit of urine in it, but it was actually vegetable broth, according to him. I said, what is this? Is this the appetizer? He said, no, that is your breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 3 days. I said, only that? He said, yeah. I said, give me my passport. Can I go back to India? I'm done. This is too radical for me. He said, no, listen. And he said the most interesting. He said, what do you want to eat for breakfast? So now I'm looking at him very suspiciously. I said, can I have egg white omelette? I'm trying to go healthy here. Huh? So egg white omelette, maybe a little bit of oats. He said, yeah, would you like to have some pancakes? Now, the thought of pancakes I'd already digested the pancakes because he meant it. So I said, well, if you think I should. He said, yeah, have your pancakes, no problem. So he said, at 8 o'clock, we will all go to the dining room. And at that place, I saw extraordinary people who've achieved extraordinary results, like the Sultan of Brunei's sister, Paula Abdul, brother, whatever, all kind of people. And when we went for breakfast, we were all sitting in this spectacular hall facing the lake. Everybody was sitting on their individual tables. We were categorically told, no phones, no newspapers, no television, no nothing. You will sit there and you will do as we ask you to and see if it makes a difference in your life. So they had taken orders from every one of us. People had ordered omelettes, bacon, falana, timkana, everything. And everything was neatly placed on our table. It was actually there. Gourmet chef had prepared it. It was looking spectacular. I could smell it. I was ready to have it. And they said, we all can have any part of the breakfast you so wish. But the only condition is, our request is, they put this bowl of soup and this 4 pieces of spelt bread here and said, our only request to you is, finish this bowl of soup and this bread in the manner that we ask you to. And then we are more than happy for you to consume the rest of the breakfast. And I said, okay, great. What's the deal? They said, we're going to follow a principle here called, so it's drink your food and chew your water. So I said, what do you mean by that? They said, take a piece of spelt bread, chew it 40 times at least, till it becomes liquid. Till it becomes completely liquid, then swallow it. It's not going to be easy. Your mind is not going to allow you to do that. It sounds very simple. Your mind is never going to allow you to do that, but we'd like you to focus on just that 4 pieces of bread we've given you. And then every time you take a sip of the soup, don't gulp it down. Put it in your mouth, gargle it in your mouth, feel it, chew it with your teeth, and then swallow it. I said, no problem. The pancake was beckoning, so I picked up my bread and I started to chew it. Slightly chewy, rubberish, and I would make it into complete liquid. I could actually feel the entire flavor. It was not bad. It was pretty tasty. But ladies and gentlemen, in 14 minutes, I couldn't finish the bread. Forget about the rest of the breakfast. Forget about the soup. I couldn't finish the bread. I was sated. And it happened across the board to everybody. And we're like looking at each other and smiling because we tried. There's an Afro-American woman. She tried to have a little bit of the pancakes. We couldn't finish it. And it was really, we thought, usme soda hoga. There's a lot of soda there. That's why we're feeling full and everything. But then the explanation started and he said to all of us, he says, Mr. Madhavan, the mind or your body knows exactly what it wants. Your mind gets sated after chewing for 14 to 15 minutes. Whatever if you calculate every time you've been to a party, every time you've been to a dinner, you can only eat collectively for 15 minutes. What you eat, how much you eat, and that is a totally different thing. But you cannot chew for more than 14, 15 minutes because the brain sends a signal to your body saying, stop eating. You've got enough food. I said, this is very interesting. And so a series of classes started, and the essence of which I want to share with you today. I was asking him, I don't understand. So how does this work? What in 15 minutes? He says, he asked me, you're going to work out for this film called Sala Kadus, you want to build up muscles. You asked me in an email, how much protein you should eat? I said, yeah. He said, why do you want to eat protein? I said, because sir, I want to put on excess muscles. I want the body to look fit. He said, well, in that case, why don't you just have 8 glasses of protein shakes every day? It's a great amount of protein. Don't work out. Just have 8 glasses of protein shake. You should become muscular. So I said, no, maybe that doesn't work because I'm supposed to be working out also. He says, then why do you need to work out? If protein is going to do the job for you. I said, yeah. He says, the protein doesn't do the job for you. Your conditioning of the lifestyle that you're leading while you eat the food will determine what aspect of the food is absorbed in your body. He asked me, what is the most muscular animal in the jungle? It's like asking a kid question. So everybody said elephant. Basically, it was the ox, the most muscular animal in the forest. And he said, what does the ox eat? Just grass. It's a herbivore. And even in the herbivore, it only eats grass. And he says, so how does it get all the muscles? No protein shake for that ox. And he says, the brain and your body is far more spectacular and smart than you people in your mundane lives are giving it credit for. He says, the brain knows that there is no pure food. Every piece of food that you put in your mouth is consisting of carbohydrates, fats, protein, vitamin, mineral, but in different proportions. And he says the bull's brain knows how to just take out the protein from the grass that is required and substitute and put it into the body that it needs. So I was extremely intrigued. So you're basically saying that I don't need to take a protein shake? He said, no, let me explain to you what we learned from India, where we say, the final point of the whole conversation is, people in our Shastras say that you are what you eat. By that, what he meant was, your emotional success, your emotional, your success, your temperament, the way you look at the world, your family relationships, your professional relationships, everything depends on what you eat. Now that was too much for me. I said, how can my acting depend on my popularity or my professional career depend on what I eat, sir? Please tell me what to eat, I'll only eat that. And he said, no. He says, when we say you are what you eat, it basically means that in today's world, people are so stressed out. He says that, Mr. Madhavan, if you're not able to give yourself 10 minutes in a day to sit quietly without your mobile phones, without your conversations, without your television, without being distracted, to eat your food, then you're doing a stupid profession and you're not a successful person. All great people in the world who have achieved any sort of greatness were very disciplined on one thing, and that was their food. Be it Alexander the Great, to any Mahatmas, to everybody, food was a very important factor. Not just the food, the way they ate it, how they ate it, and when they ate it. So I said, explain to me, I'm not as evolved as what you're trying to be. And he said, the body, when you chew it enough, when you start drinking your food, when you chew it enough, the brain takes all the signals from your saliva. Your sugar and your carbohydrates gets digested in the mouth. Any doctor will tell you that. Your saliva sends a signal to your brain saying, this gentleman is eating certain things, so prepare your guts to secrete the acids according to the food being taken, so that the right amount of absorption is done for the food. Most of us wolf down the food, which means that you're reining your intestine with enough without information to your brain, with just food. And anybody who's in the medical profession will tell you that if the food doesn't get digested in time, it becomes toxic. So therefore, the brain will leave all other activities, including put itself at risk, to just make sure that the food gets digested.